For more perspective, let's bring in retired Brigadier General John Teichert with U.S. Air Force. Thank you so much for being with us, General. Israel is ordering this complete siege. No electricity, no water, no fuel allowed in. Talk about what that will really look like.
Absolutely, Nichole. And so first of all, of course, we've got to be heartbroken at the fact that as we continue to hear reports and see images, that this terrorist attack was just brutal and barbaric against Israel. And they are rightfully defending themselves. And part of that is then going after those in Hamas within Gaza that perpetrated this attack. And a part of that is airstrikes. We've seen that over the last couple of days. A part of that is this siege that you see that's blocking off any supplies or electricity that's coming into Gaza. And then ultimately, we expect that a big part of that is going to be a ground attack to ultimately be able to take out those that initiated this terrorist attack. And as you said, it's not going to be easy. I don't expect that it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be brutal and long term. And I think the United States needs to continue to provide unwavering support throughout.
Absolutely. And General, I want to talk to you about what you expect that we will hear from the president. But first, just to talk about the fact that this is expected to be brutal. It is expected to be ugly, horrendous. We know Hamas is threatening to execute hostages in response to an Israeli surge. How does it impact how this war proceeds from a strategic perspective? Because how do you attack knowing that this is what could happen as a result?
No, and so that's a heart-wrenching decision that the leaders in Israel are going to have to make. And we're going to provide, I suspect, the best intelligence support that we can. But as they make decisions going forward, they realize that likely Hamas is legitimate in the expectation that they're going to slaughter the women and children and the elderly that they've taken captive. And that has to play into a calculus both emotionally, but also practically and strategically as Israel makes decisions going forward.
And General, what do you think we will hear from President Biden? Because there is a lot of questions about whether or not there will end up being U.S. troops on the ground. We know that they were saying there won't be now, but do you think that could change?
No, so I think that President Biden needs to express, one, capability and resolve that indicates that America is standing by its long-term friend in Israel. That includes practically what steps we have or will take, like replenishing supplies or providing help in deterrence or evacuating non-combatants that are U.S. citizens. But I also really hope that President Biden finally acknowledges that Iran played a part in the planning and support and financing and training of this terrorist attack. And ultimately, he needs to understand, or at least help the American populace to understand, how the $6 billion that we allowed to be contingently released back to Iran ultimately needs to be frozen so that we don't continue to support terrorist activities that likely are stemming from Iran throughout the region.
And General, do you think the U.S. is going to be able to support Israel and Ukraine? Because we know Ukraine has been at war for about a year and a half now. The situation in Israel could potentially extend for months, if not, go past the year mark. And right now, there's a lot of concern about our own reserves for the U.S. and protecting us here at home.
Nichole, I think we need to look at the exact types of equipment that Ukraine is asking for, Israel is asking for, and what we need to preserve in our war plans, especially with respect to Taiwan and the Western Pacific. I think right now the categories of supplies are fundamentally different between what Ukraine needs and Israel needs. We haven't had, as far as I know, any specific asks from Israel thus far, but we need to make sure that we're triaging and prioritizing appropriately between the things that they are hoping for us to provide and ultimately those things we need to protect our own interests.
Absolutely. Retired Brigadier General John Teichert, we certainly appreciate your time and your expertise. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.